Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod here to talk about Season 1, Episode 4 of Fox's The Snake, titled Surprise Snake. Last time on The Snake, the first ever two-headed snake, Jacob and McLean, led the picking for a double elimination, and when poker player Devontae deviated from the plan, Cody and Brian were sent slithering home. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist to catch up on this season's recaps. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. You can check out The Snake Tuesday nights on Fox and next day on Hulu. But let's dive into it. Following the double elimination, Pastor Jacob is feeling the pain from Devontae's backstab at the elimination ceremony. He confides in makeup artist Frankie, who tells us his special skill in his profession is playing therapist to his clients, and now Pastor Jacob. Jack is confident in his alliance that he calls the Core Four with Brett, Devontae, he, and Catherine, but it's revealed in flashback that the night before, Catherine ratted this alliance out to Derek and Jacob, so Catherine has been going against the guys. Players are given an invitation to a fancy dinner party, so they get dressed up for the special event, knowing that something bad is coming at this party. Jack approaches Derek, trying to make a truce with him before their alliances go to war, but Derek is seeing right through Jack. At their dinner party, Jim is making everyone uncomfortable, telling them to uncover their meals. They're shocked that the meals aren't something gross. The food looks delicious. Jim reveals to us that under one of their plates is a snake logo. Whoever sat at the right seat is the snake. Catherine won't give the game a rest. They're drinking wine and Catherine is overanalyzing everyone. They don't seem to be drinking that much wine, but the edit makes it seem like Alyssa and Jordan are getting wasted. Players give their takes on each other in confessional. Derek tells us he thinks Frankie's running the game, and Christine is trying to make bonds now that Cody's gone. Jim reveals to them that one of them has already been chosen as the snake, so they all lift their plates, revealing that Alyssa is the snake, winning one of the lamest challenges I've ever seen on reality TV. Alyssa is pretty wasted in her confessional about it, which is funny. And for dessert, Jim brings in another giant crate, and a guy pops out of it. When he was in motion, I thought this was Justin Timberlake, but his name is John, the politician, another new player in the game. The tipsy players aren't feeling this and heckle John, especially Jack. Jack tells John he looks like he sells vapes. Jim calls the new player Mayor John, and he's safe at elimination. Brett says this is stupid and calls Mayor John a walking tampon. I wonder what Mayor John's constituents have to say about that. Christine quickly pulls John for a chat. They have a makeshift newbies alliance. Christine tells John that she has no alliances, so he's over her. He even tells us that she's basically a joke in the game and talking to her is a waste of his time. Elsewhere in the house, Derek rats Jack out to Alyssa, telling Alyssa that before dinner, Jack suggested targeting Frankie and Alyssa, and Amanda and Devontae are doing a little flirting. Later, McLean and Jack are holding hands outside and they kiss. Get a room. The next day, the girlies are hungover and strategizing. Alyssa brings what Derek said back to her posse, Frankie and Jordan. Jordan doesn't believe this. They bring Catherine in and consider blindsiding the guys' alliance. Catherine reads us a tip from her phone to plant seeds against other players, so she continues to plant seeds against the guys, hoping it doesn't come back to her. Later, Catherine reassures Devontae that everything's okay, but Pastor Jacob oversees this. After Catherine told Jacob about their alliance, Jacob is annoyed to see her talking to the boys again. Fox is crazy with this blur. She is wearing a bathing suit and a cover-up. Jacob then pulls Alyssa, Frank, Jordan, Catherine, and Derek into a room and calls Catherine out for her alliance with the guys. He's sketched out by Catherine and doesn't want his life to be in Catherine's hands at the picking ceremony. She stands up for herself. She spins it that Jacob is trying to turn everyone against her, and she storms out. Another rule from her phone: know when to walk away. Catherine is set off. She's calling Jacob a piece of ish, fake as hell. She says that God is watching Jacob, praying he burns. Well, damn. This turns into a big house meeting that starts about Catherine, but turns into Derek and Jack being forced to talk about their earlier conversation, which turns into a fight between Derek and Jack. Catherine lit a fuse and walked away, which turns into a big argument with everyone talking over each other about different things. The players disperse, leaving Frankie and Alyssa to relish in their own genius and decide which direction they want to go. They head to the elimination where Mayor John, who's wearing the most hideous bow tie I've ever seen, is deemed safe. Snake Alyssa, of course, saves Frank, followed by Jordan, then Catherine, who picks McLean, knowing that McLean will pick Jack, who, of course, also saves his boys, Brett and Devontae. Devontae saves Amanda, who he was flirting with. Before Amanda picks, Jacob takes one more chance to call Catherine out, but everyone defends Catherine, and she continues to gaslight Jacob. He again calls her a liar, and she pops off on Jacob again. I wouldn't even say she put Jacob in his place, because this is crazy manipulation from Catherine. Amanda makes her final save. She announces that she doesn't want to be associated with the drama and chooses Christine, leaving her allies Derek and Jacob in the bottom two. Snake Alyssa gets the final call between them. She makes them plead their case, which turns again into a he said, she said argument between Jack and Derek. Jacob chimes in that he wanted to show the world a version of Christianity that is inclusive, but he feels like his work here is done, and he bows out of the competition. On the way out, he says everything he said was true, which could be trouble for Catherine. So we lose Jacob here, who was a really important member of this cast. A big part of the appeal of the show was seeing the pastor competing in a game of deception. He was playing, and he had a strong alliance at the start. His most memorable moment was accusing Jack of cheating in the eating cheating challenge, which was such drama, and the ruling on that was the beginning of the end for Jacob in the game. He started having to rebuild from zero when he lost so much trust, and in this episode, despite having the receipts on Catherine, he wasn't able to get the house to turn on her, but what he was doing this episode was the optimal game move. I get a lot of comments saying that he's not a real pastor because he's on the show, or whatever reason, but he is a real pastor. Some of you really need to touch some grass. Why would someone lie about that? On the way out, Jim tells Jacob that from now on, the eliminated players get to either gift an advantage or a disadvantage to a player of their choice. This was a fun twist, but the show really needs to be working on their challenges and game layout before they get to twists. I don't know if I could take another new player arriving. Let's get this show on the road. We need more eliminations. Let's get this roast a cookin'. But that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode and Jacob's departure. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more Snake. We're also getting into Big Brother season. I'm recapping Big Brother 27. Until next time, you know where to find me. Bye.